Hey, what's up? I'm ChrisJ.Wright. I started the Moment of Truth Straight Talk series to show rawness and relatability through social media, to advocate for mental health through self-care by sharing my life story through my experiences. Take what's in your hands, son. One day I was walking off the practice field in high school. This was springtime, and in Florida, we pretty much play football year round. As I was heading towards the locker room, I ran into a legend, Coach Otis Gray. He said, "To come here, son." I stopped and made my way into the weight room, which is where he would often be. At this time, he had retired from coaching and was still teaching. Once I got into the room, he said, "Have a seat, son." It was just him and I. "You have some college recruiters interested in you." I nodded my head, yeah. Honestly, I wasn't 100% sure. He said, "I spoke with Michigan State and Iowa State, and they seem to be very interested." I smiled and responded, "That's good to know, Coach." He said, "Keep your grades up, and you have a promising future ahead." I smiled with joy and felt an instant relief. The reason why I felt that relief was because I was finally going to get the opportunity to live out my dream, which was to get a college scholarship, play for 3 to 4 years, and off to the NFL. Back to Coach. He said, "All right, I just wanted to let you know, and keep working." I responded, "I will, and thanks, Coach." After talking to Coach Gray, I felt like my future was looking extremely bright. Then things, soon after, took a sudden turn. And this was my last and final stop with transferring in high school. I had already attended 2 schools prior to being at the current school, which was Dillard High School. Initially, when I started transferring, I was just looking to be a part of a winning program. I knew if I was with a winning football team, it would make it easier to be recruited because I would get seen more often. Now that I think about it, my logic was correct, but my plan was a little flawed. In between 14 and 18, you probably should be consulting with your parent or guardians or even some type of mentor before making significant moves in your life. In between 14 and 18 years old, that should not be a decision that's made by a teenager. My mother didn't know much about sports or even understand the game. She did the best that she could. And with my other siblings home and with her working full time and trying to be home in order to emerge herself into my life, you should always have someone present that is more knowledgeable about the process. You're making a big decision, even if you are a kid or a teenager. My senior year, I fought and struggled for playing time. And I don't think that necessarily had to do with my play on the field. It had more to do with politics. You see, when you transfer 2 and 3 times, you're not building a relationship with the current coaches or players. So you're the newbie coming in. And if you're making these decisions mostly by yourself, if no one really knows your name or really care to know your name, you're probably going to get left behind. So luckily for me, when I transferred, I was getting recruited by college coaches. My first letter that I ever received was from the University of Tennessee. I think that's pretty good for a first-timer. My name was getting out there. I was receiving Super Prep Candidate All-American letters, and I thought with having all of this recognition, it would carry over. I didn't think once I transferred, I would run into many issues. And as I said earlier, one of those issues was fighting for playing time. I was promised, just like a lot of athletes when they transfer, oh, you're going to be good, we're going to take care of you, everything is going to work out fine. And in the end, it did work out fine, but it was a struggle. And we're talking about a struggle in terms of just being able to finish playing football and finish school. There was so many times where I wanted to give up. I was losing hope, but something told me to keep going. And I remember after the football season, meeting back up with Coach Gray. I believe it was a day before signing day. He asked for me to come to his office again. And we spoke and talked about what we had spoken about during the spring. And he said, I know you didn't have the year that you expected. And I was telling him that, hey, Coach, I'm thinking about going to junior college. That way I can go through the recruiting process again. And as I was finishing and trying to explain to him my reasons why, he stopped me. And he said, son, take what's in your hand. He said, if these college coaches are interested in you and they're offering you a full ride, then they're probably going to be interested in giving you a shot at playing and fulfilling your dreams. So take what's in your hand. I ended up signing to Murray State University. There was challenging times there. I learned so much throughout the process. I grew as a man. I grew as a team player, and I learned to be unselfish. I put myself in a position to play and ultimately gave it all I had. All roads lead to somewhere. And if you do nothing, you get nothing. But if you do something, you gain everything. Thanks for coming along and joining me on this journey of discovery and self-reflection. And I hope through my experiences that I have provided some peace, hope, and perspective that will inspire you to move forward and to become a better version of yourself. If you liked my content, please subscribe. And remember, aspire to inspire before we expire. See you next week. Peace.